So a couple videos ago, I reacted to my 2025 draft grades, basically a year later, and you guys really liked that video. So today, let's go one draft before that, and let's react to my 2024 draft grades, because this was a polarizing draft cycle because you had so many non-college prospects going in the lottery in the first round. You had plenty of international guys. You had still some G League Ignite guys. That was the final year of that program, and let's see how these grades have aged 2 years later. And I would love to know maybe if there was somebody you were higher on in this draft class that hasn't lived up to your expectations, and vice versa, in the comments below. And let me know. Drop a thumbs up if you guys want to see this for 2023.
Single first round pick that just went down last night. So thank you to everybody that was in the stream last night as well. It was a ton of fun. We had over 8,000 of you guys throughout that draft stream that was 3.5 hours long. So I do want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for showing out. And if you guys agree or disagree with any of my grades, like always, please let me know in the comments below. And if you guys do enjoy this style of content, feel free to drop a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe too, because I think I'm going to be doing a way too early 2025 mock draft.
Do I look younger? I guess so, right? That was 2 years ago. I can't really tell anymore. Like if I watch something from 5 years ago, I'm like, okay, I definitely look younger. Now I definitely look younger.
And we're going to start things off with the Atlanta Hawks.
It's also funny that usually every time I'm doing these draft grade videos, I'm like 10 because it happens in June and I don't get 10 in the Northeast here up until basically that time period.
And the #1 overall pick. It was weird that Alex Sarr, who was my top prospect in this draft, a lot of outlets' top prospect, didn't even work out with the Atlanta Hawks, who had the #1 overall pick. We're still not really sure why. So they ended up going Zachary Risache, the forward out of J.L. Berg. And over the last couple of years, like Wemby in 23, Paolo in 22, Cade in 21, and in 20, I give the #1 overall pick a really good letter grade. But this time, I'm going to give it a B-. Risache is my 4th ranked prospect, and you took him #1 overall, and I just feel like he's not going to make so much of an immediate impact right away in Atlanta, and I don't really know what they're trying to do with their timeline right now. They have Trae Young, they have DeJounte Murray. Are they trading one of them? Are they trading neither? Are they trading both of them this offseason? We're going to have to wait and see. I feel like there's going to be some growing pains in Risache's game, which is completely fine. That's to be expected. When you're the #1 overall pick, you're held to a higher standard, and I'm afraid that Risache may not live up to those expectations over the first couple of years of his career. But hey, I hope I'm wrong. At number 2.
So I guess, I mean, after year 1, maybe I was too low on Risache because I thought he had a pretty good year 1. He finished, I believe, on All-Rookie First Team, I think runner-up to Stephon Castle in the Rookie of the Year voting. But this year, he ended up being a DNP coach decision by the end of the year. Now, they've had the Jalen Johnson emergence. Nickel Alexander-Walker comes in. They bring in Jonathan Kuminga at the deadline. So there's a lot of forwards. And hey, they're a team that's trying to win right now. They're going up against the Knicks in the playoffs. So if you're not going to fit what Quinn Snyder is trying to do, you're not going to play. And he's still 21 years old. I still think he has high potential in this league. But it was definitely a discouraging year #2 where I felt like he wasn't as aggressive. He didn't feel as comfortable with his first step catching a pass from Jalen Johnson or McCollum or Trae Young early in the year. And off the dribble, he would get stopped right away and pass it. He would not try to maybe develop any type of offensive creation, no step back, no spin move, nothing like that. And yeah, this team looks a lot different since Trae Young got traded. These other guys are not maybe as good of passers as Trae Young that are orchestrating the offense right now, but it's a completely different style, and Risache is going to have to adapt. He's definitely going to get his 4th-year option picked up. I just have no idea what they're going to do with him in the offseason, because in game 1 of the playoffs against the Knicks, he was unplayable. They didn't play him really in game #2. So we'll see what happens. Actually, he didn't play at all in game #2. So we'll see what happens with him in the offseason, and we'll see if he's going to potentially get traded. Because if you watch my Cooper Flag grade, it was an A. Like I gave it and I'm going to give whoever probably takes, I'm going to think like the 2026 #1 pick. If it's AJ or Darren Peterson or even Boozer, I'll probably still give it a high letter grade. But Risache was like my lowest #1 overall pick I think I've ever handed out since doing these videos.
The Washington Wizards ended up getting Alex Sarr, my top player in the 2024 NBA draft. I'm giving this an A. Sarr, like I said, is my #1.
So one thing here too, I'm not going to hate, or not hate, but like, just, I don't know, what was going on between Sarr and Atlanta was really, really weird, because before he played in Perth, before the 2024 draft, he was playing in the Overtime Elite league or program, whatever that is, or whatever it was, down the road in Atlanta. So like there was that Atlanta connection. Apparently he didn't want to play the 4, and he would have done that next to Onyeka Okongwu when they still had Clint Capella at the time. So he ends up getting the 5 spot here in Washington, and maybe there was something with Trae Young, and he ends up just playing with Trae Young in Washington anyway. But yeah, Washington, I mean, I thought Atlanta should have taken Sarr and say, screw it, you're going to learn to like it here. And I still think Sarr to this day would have been a much better selection if he wanted to go there or not. And Washington got handed such a gift here, the fact that he fell to #2.
prospect in this draft. He could do it all defensively on the perimeter, super quick and agile for someone that's 7 feet tall, and he can also rim protect at a very high level as well. The Wizards kind of shocked everybody when they traded Denny Avdija a couple hours before the draft started. Not really sure why they decided to do that, but hey, they ended up with the 14th overall pick as well. They got a first round pick later in 2029 from Portland, and also Malcolm Brogdon in that deal, so this team is going to look a little bit different next year.
That trade has not aged well so far.
It's a shame because I wanted to see some Sar at the 5, Denny at the 4. It seems like Sar wants to play the 4. This team definitely needs to add a 5. But in my opinion, Sar, best player in this draft, and you got him at number 2. That warrants an A. And my third ranked prospect in this draft, Reed Sheppard, went 3rd. Yeah, so this is also going to be an A. I'm a huge Reed Sheppard fan. This guy can do it all offensively, especially downtown. This guy can knock down threes, spot up, off the dribble, coming off screens. They could be guarded. They could be unguarded. He's going to knock them down at a very high clip no matter what. He can also play make. He could do a bunch of little things off the dribble. And I also think he can hold his own defensively as well. He had 5 games last year where he had 5 steals or more at Kentucky. So he's going to be just fine, in my opinion, on that end of the floor. I'm a big fan of Reed Sheppard, and I'm excited to see where Houston is going to plug and play him over the next couple of years. Like I said, it's an A. Number 4.
All right, so Reed Sheppard in year number 1, I think was just a throwaway year, right? Like they had a higher expectation given they're the 2 seed. They had Fred VanVleet at the 1. They weren't really going to play Reed Sheppard a ton, and Ime Udoka did not trust them. I don't even know if I could say Ime Udoka trusted him in year number 2, because I feel like we were just harping on that, like he should start Reed Sheppard, because Reed Sheppard in the regular season was an impactful player. And honestly, if like in this volatile draft, what Reed Sheppard just gave us in year number 2, I think that's warranted an A in the regular season. And it's a small sample size so far, but he has not looked good for the Rockets in the playoffs. And that could be something with Reed Sheppard and these smaller guards that can't defend. You are going to get matchup hunted in the playoffs. He looks small within the 3-point line. And if he's not going to be like a 45% 3-point shooter from behind the arc in the catch and shoot in the playoffs, like he is going to be unplayable. At least he was unplayable against the Lakers in game number 2. So like regular season Reed this year, A, sure. From what I think he's now going to be in the postseason, maybe this should have been a little bit of a lower grade. I'm scared to see what I give the other Kentucky guard that went in the top 10 though.
Stephon Castle to the San Antonio Spurs. This was kind of chalky as well. I mocked these picks accurately 1 through 4. Different story after that, but I'm going to give this pick an A as well. I'm a big Stephon Castle fan. He was a winner this past season at UConn. He has incredible court vision and feel for the game. For somebody at his age coming out of UConn, he can play off ball, he can cut, he can slash, he can pick up a team's best offensive player on the defensive end of the floor. And San Antonio needed that, right? They needed somebody that can help them out on that end of the floor, as well as someone that can facilitate offensively and play off ball to Wemby, and they got that in Stephon Castle. Number 5.
I feel like that was a pretty good take after Castle. I thought he was going to be a good defender. I didn't think he was going to be this good this quickly, because he's probably going to make an all defensive team in year number 2, which is insane.
Detroit kind of shocked a lot of people, including me, when they went Ron Holland out of the G League Ignite. I have Ron Holland as my second best player in this 2024 NBA draft class, and there was plenty of mocks that were having Holland go outside the lottery or outside the top 10. I had him going basically 12 to OKC in my official mock draft that you guys watched, so I was kind of shocked.
Oh my God, Holland in that defensive system in OKC would have been crazy. I mean, he was kind of crazy in Detroit's elite defensive system as well.
When he went 5th, but I am a very big fan of this because Ron Holland, my second ranked prospect in this draft, in my opinion, is the most athletic player in this draft. You are going to have so much fun watching him, Pistons fans. In transition, this dude is a strict bucket. He could switch on the defensive end of the floor. There are some questions with his jumper, but Fred Vincent, who is the new shooting coach there, should be able to fix it. It's a little bit of a wonky release. I think it's going to be okay. And I think he's going to be a perfect complementary piece to Cade Cunningham. So yeah, I'm going to give this an A as well. Now at 6.
Yeah, I guess that should be a little bit lower. I think I'm a little underwhelmed from Holland offensively this year. The defense has been off the charts. And if you want to say that's been an A+ and the offense has been like a C, maybe it should be in the middle there. As a B. I do wonder what his offensive game is going to look like next year, because Detroit, they had a great game too, but I think in game 1 we realized they need shot creators. I don't know if Holland is ever going to become a good enough number 2 shot creator next to Cade. Probably not. I don't really trust the 3-point shot. It's a little redundant with the Sar Thompson. It's a great thing to have right now, but when you eventually get these guys on like their second contracts, it's going to be tough. It's funny, like the Tijan Salon graphic from the Hornets, F is either France or forward, probably forward. Yeah, maybe it also could be the letter grade.
Charlotte, they apparently could have traded down with Memphis or a team like Portland trying to get up and guarantee themselves Donovan Clingan. They were rumored to do so, but then they opted not to do that, and they took Tijan Salon, the forward from Cholet. I'm going to give this a C+. I had Salon ranked outside my top 20, and I actually don't hate the fit in Charlotte. It's just a little rich for me at number 6. I think he's going to be able to space the floor, defend a little bit. I do think there's a limited upside there, and I think if there's a chance you could have taken him at 9 and you could have accumulated some extra draft capital in return, I would have done that. Maybe they thought that San Antonio was going to take him at 8, but either way, I was just not a huge fan of Salon going 6, which is a shame because I really like the direction that the Charlotte Hornets are going in. I would have loved Reed Shepherd on this team. I would have loved Ron Holland on this team, or Stefan Castle. Salon, not as much immediately, but hey, I can be proven wrong. Coming in at number 7.
So like Jeff Peterson, the new Hornets GM, taking it over from Mitch Kupchak a couple years ago, has made good move after good move. Like drafting Brandon Miller over Scoot, smart decision. Drafting Conky Nipple, smart decision. Picking up Moussa Diabate on a 2-way, smart decision. If you just took Donovan Clingan over Tidjane Salon, oh my God, that would have been insane. Or what if, I don't know, you were able to trade down and take Salon and you get a future first round pick, or you trade down and then you trade and you took the Minnesota trade package for Rob Dillingham. Like that would have been amazing as well. It's definitely a blemish on Jeff Peterson's resume as the Hornets' main decision maker, but it's like the only blemish right now.
With the Portland Trailblazers getting Donovan Clingan, yeah, I'm going to give this an A as well. I absolutely love this pick for them. Donovan Clingan can be a rock-solid center for them long-term with Denny Avdia at the 4, with Scoot Henderson at the 1. And he could be better than DeAndre Ayton as a whole next year. I mean, Ayton's a good offensive center. Clingan's a good defensive center. It just gives you some insurance. Now they can move on from Time Lord this offseason as well. You gave up a little bit to go out and get Denny Avdia, so I hope that he can play well with Donovan Clingan. I believe he can, but I'm a big fan of Clingan, and I love the fit in Portland, so it's getting an A. A lot of A's here in the top 10. Minnesota.
All right, so I'm glad I gave that an A. Yeah, this is one of the better picks from the top 10. Clingan would probably go top 5 in a redraft. I guess you're trying to think like what team would select him. Detroit, maybe not with Duren. Like Castle goes early. Does he go to San Antonio? Maybe he ends up going to Houston at Shanker. So I actually wonder where he would go in a redraft. Either way, though, he's still one of the best players from this draft class. He's developed more of a three-point shot. He was better than Ayton, I honestly think, as a rookie, at least on the defensive end of the floor. Bad take by me, though, saying they should move on from Rob Williams. Because if he's healthy now, they should re-sign him to be his backup. Still don't get why they drafted Hanson Yang.
Everybody when they traded away a 2031 first round pick and a 2030 pick swap with the San Antonio Spurs for pick 8. We saw Minnesota jump up into the top 10. They selected Rob Dillingham with the 8th overall pick. I'm going to be giving this a B+. I actually love this for Minnesota, don't get me wrong. I think it's a little risky trading these draft picks down the line when you have no idea how your roster is going to look by then for somebody who has never played a single moment in the NBA. But Dillingham could be a true microwave scorer. This guy could heat up at any time. He is one of the better shooters in this draft class. He's not going to start over Mike Conley, but now they have maybe a successor under the wings for Mike Conley because he's getting up there in age. Monty Morris is a free agent. Rob Dillingham could be that guy for him, and he could be a nice offensive spark plug next to Anthony Edwards in that backcourt. And at number
terrible. I should have gave that a D+ because one, I should have been lower on Dillingham as a prospect. I don't know. I just kind of fell into the Calipari guard trap. But yeah, you want to talk about like Reed Shepherd having some defensive liabilities when he's on the floor. Rob Dillingham looks like me out there, and that's no disrespect to Dillingham, and he's taller than me. But like you throw him out there with these guys that are 6'4" in the backcourt, he looks so tiny, and he's the only guy from the top 10. I believe the only guy from the lottery right now that has been on a different team already because the Timberwolves were like, yep, we're good enough to trade him away this year at the deadline for Ayo Dosunmu, who's a free agent at the end of the year. So it's not like you got it at first. It's like a terrible trade. It's also a blemish on maybe Tim Connolly's Minnesota resume. Like a lot of people want to talk about how like the Rudy Gobert trade maybe messed up the window a little bit. No, not even the slightest. That was a good move in hindsight. This is the move that could have maybe not destroyed, but really hurt Minnesota's window because you traded essentially 2 first-round picks for somebody you had to attach second-round draft capital to get off a year and a half later. Who knows? Maybe they're able to trade for Giannis if they had all their first-round picks to still potentially move. But yeah, they have like no first-round picks to really move outright. It's a bunch of swaps now that aren't great, and Dillingham is already off the team. It's a bad take by me and definitely a bad decision in hindsight by Tim Connolly in that Wolves front office.
9, Memphis took Zach Edey. Yeah, I was a little shocked with this one as well. I'm going to be giving it a B-. So I don't love this pick as much as some other ones. I mean, Edey is a fine player. Don't get me wrong. He was one of the best players, if not the best player in college basketball last season. And I think for Jaren Jackson Jr., it's going to be great. He's going to get some open looks more on the perimeter. Same with Desmond Bane and Marcus Smart. What I don't love for this is Ja Morant's game because I do think the paint is going to be clogged up a lot more with Zach Edey not really being able to be a useful player outside the paint. So why are teams going to try to be guarding him on the perimeter when they could just kind of hang around in the paint that can try to protect the rim against any Ja Morant drive. So that's why I'm not a huge fan of this. And are you going to play him in a playoff series? We'll see. Lot to have to kind of be unfolded over the next couple of weeks and throughout the NBA season. So I'm going to be a little bit conservative here and give it a B-. The Utah Jazz.
So I think that's a bad take by me too, because yes, you could say that Ja Morant's game has actually kind of been trending downward ever since they drafted Zach Edey, but it was the factors before that. But when Zach Edey and Ja Morant have shared the floor, it's been probably not as much as you would like in the 2 years that they were together so far. It's like 600 minutes across 2 seasons, pretty low, but they were a positive 9.1 net rating together. And you could see that there is some synergy with these two guys out there. Edey has been a great screen setter when he's been healthy, great rebounder, great just kind of bruiser and forcer down low. The problem with Edey is, which I wish I touched on, maybe the medicals a little bit, maybe the injury concerns, because Edey played a decent amount in his rookie year, but had some injuries. And this year, he barely played. And Edey's also getting up there in age as well. So you're getting him probably in maybe the prime of his career as a big man. Like, he's 23 years old. He's going to be 24 next year. He could still be a good player at 30. Well, what's the mileage going to look like on somebody that's 7'3", 300 pounds? Worries me a little bit. It looks like he's going to be part of this Memphis rebuild. I hope he plays more than 11 games next year, because his production on the court has been definitely a top 14 player from this class, and maybe even a top 10 player. It's just how much will we see him on the court going forward?
Cody Williams at number 10, I'm going to give this a B. This is right around the range where I would draft Cody Williams as well. He's someone that I think could be an immediate impact.
I will say these are definitely like generous grades of a B, but if you watch like my 2025 draft grades, I handed out so many A's in the top 10 where it makes me think I wish I was a little bit harsh, I think, on these grades because the volatility from this class now in retrospect. But I mean, B, at least I didn't give this an A. I think like, okay, you could have threw this a C if you didn't really like the pick, but maybe I didn't.
Defender right away. It'll be an interesting fit with a lot of forwards and bigs there in Utah right now with Clarkson, Sensabaugh, Hendricks, Larry Markkinen. That big decision. Obviously, you do have Walker Kessler at the 5 as well, so I'm glad they went with somebody like Cody Williams. I wonder how he's going to be with his aggressiveness right away. Is he going to be able to not turn over the ball? Is he going to be a consistent shooter? Something he wasn't in high school, but was last year in Colorado. A lot of question marks with this game, but that's the appeal to it. High boom potential, high bust potential. At number 11, Chicago got Montes Buzelis. I'm going to give this a B+. I love the fact that they got Buzelis at number 11. I think if Buzelis went number 5, I probably would have given this a C+, but I'm more comfortable and happy that he went there around 11 because I think that's a fair range for him. He is a hometown kid from Chicago, so that is pretty cool. And now hopefully this is a new era of Chicago Bulls basketball. Josh Giddey, Asumu, Kobe White, and Montes Buzelis are the guys they're going to be building around. Hopefully DeMar DeRozan is gone in a sign and trade or something like that, and they can move Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic sooner rather than later. At number 12, the Thunder took Nikola.
I think I was a little bit lower on Buzelis as a prospect because, the G League Ignite was just such a tough watch sometimes, especially with that team. They were so bad record-wise that year. And Buzelis really struggled to create any separation as a kind of ball handler in the half court at the G League Ignite. And I'm like, I don't know if this is going to play too much at the NBA level. I was definitely wrong about that. I should have probably swapped Buzelis and Holland on my big board, and that would have looked really good to this day, or at least I would have looked a lot better than what I originally had it. I'm glad he ended up going to Chicago. It's funny that I'm like, oh, this could be a new era for the Bulls. It really wasn't. Maybe now it's a new era for the Bulls. Karnisovas is gone. Donovan's gone. We'll see.
With Topic, I was a little shocked by this. I'm going to be giving this a B. I love Topic as a player, top 10 prospect for me. I thought this was a weird fit for OKC with plenty of win now guys on the board, like a Dalton Connect, like a Devin Carter, like a Jared McCain, like a Kalo Ware, who could help this team in the playoffs next year. They still need size. They still need a tall shot creator out there that could be adjacent to Jalen Williams. I don't think Topic is going to really play all that much in his rookie year. Obviously, Sam Presti, the general manager, has a type. You look at your Usman Jangs of the world, you look at your Alexis Pukaszewskis of the world. He likes these European guys that come over, and I'm going to give it a B for now. Devin Carter going to the Sacramento Kings at 13.
Yeah, I think you got to throw out any grades off Nikola Topic out the window because I didn't think he was going to miss his whole rookie year with the ACL tear, which he did. And then he had the cancer treatment too, which basically derailed most of his year number 2. We got to see him play a little bit this year, and we probably will throughout garbage time of the NBA playoffs if the Thunder are playing in garbage time. So we'll see how Topic looks in year number 3. It's still tough for him to maybe play a ton of minutes because you have Shea as your 1. They now acquired Jared McCain. We'll see if Dort's back, but you have J-Dub, you have Caruso, you have Joe, you have Wallace, Casey Wallace. So you have so many guys there that are maybe limiting Topic's minutes. Now, if you're looking at a pure ball handler, he might just be the backup initiator next year. I hope he plays more. It's just going to be, will we ever see him in his fullest potential on this rookie deal in OKC when he's never going to be a starter unless there's an injury or two.
I love this value for the Sacramento Kings. I'm giving this an A-. Devin
like
Carter
Carter
is your do-it-all type of guard. He's someone that's going to dive for loose balls, crash the offensive glass, knock down big threes, and that's something Sacramento needs as any playoff team would, right? Like, you have De'Aaron Fox, you have Domantas Sabonis as your top two, but let's get the gritty guys that are going to do the dirty work for you in Devin Carter, and they're adding him to Keon Ellis as well out there, and Davion Mitchell. Yeah, they could have went a wing. Yeah, they could have went a big, but in my opinion, they went best player available, and that was Devin Carter. At 14th.
Yeah, I guess there's some better moves in hindsight. I just maybe now think that Devin Carter went to the worst possible location for him because I don't know, man. I don't think I was fooled by the Providence tape. Like, it was so good in 2024. He was averaging 9 rebounds a night. He was shooting 37% from three on high volume. And I know he's a smaller guard, but I wasn't asking him to be my lead point guard for you. I was asking him to basically be like a better rebounding. I don't know if like Keaton Wallace is the right comp because he's not that good defensively, but somebody that's like a good enough defender that is nowhere near a liability. He's going to crash the glass like VJ Edgecombe does as a rookie or like Josh Hart does, and he's going to be a good 3-point shooter. And maybe we never got to, well, he had this shoulder injury and he had, I think, multiple shoulder surgeries or at least one, which could definitely affect your shooting motion because he's never really been a great shooter in Sacramento. Hopefully we see more runtime for Carter next year because they signed Russell Westbrook and Dennis Schroeder and they had Malik Monk and Levine basically limiting his playing time in Sacramento. So hopefully there's a year 3 jump for Devin Carter, but we haven't seen it yet.
This is the Washington Wizards pick that they got in the Denny of Diaha trade. This is via the Golden State Warriors that Portland originally owned, and they took Bub Carrington out of Pittsburgh. I'm going to give this a B grade as well. I was kind of shocked to see Carrington go above Jared McCain and Isaiah Collier. Obviously, Collier was somebody that slid a decent amount, and I really love Bub Carrington as a prospect, and I'm really happy he's going to Washington, D.C. because he's someone that was not really a point guard ever in his career until his freshman year at Pittsburgh. He wasn't one in high school. He's one of the younger guys in this class. Can play the 1, can play the 2. Great size, great speed, great athleticism, beautiful looking pull-up jumper from the mid-range, and I think he's someone that can facilitate as well. So this is a good pick in my opinion. Miami going
this was part of the Denny trade, which makes it, I don't know, look a little bit worse. Like, Bub was fine his first 2 years in the league. I don't think anything that is going to show that he is a franchise point guard. He's been a good 3-point shooter for the most part, but he's going to struggle around the rim, which makes sense. He's not like a small guard, like he's not like Rob Dillingham small, but maybe plays a little bit small out there with his frame. And now that they add Trae Young, like, how does this team deploy Bub next year? What if they had Darius Cuff or Wagler or Peterson or somebody like that? Is there going to be enough playing time for Bub Carrington to play 30 minutes a night? You assume they're not going to be tanking, so will he play 30 minutes a night? We'll see.
With Kel'el Ware at 15, I'm going to give this a B-. I do like Kel'el Ware as a prospect. He was a top 20 prospect for me, but I thought Miami could have used a guard like Collier, like McCain, who were on the board, or a more athletic scoring wings they could definitely use as well, like a Tristan Da Silva or a Dalton Connect. But they opted for Kel'el Ware, who has a ton of athleticism. I just wonder how many minutes you're really going to get out there with him and Bam Adebayo at a time, and that question is really going to mark this down to a B-.
Bad take by me. I didn't like the fit too much, and it's been like a weird fit, I would say, so far in Memphis, just because it feels like Spoelstra does not like Kel'el Ware, even though Kel'el Ware has probably been one of the better Miami Heat players over the course of his career so far. I was just pulling up the Bam Ware numbers together. When they're on the court, at least this year, it was 1,000 minutes. They were a +7 net rating, and I think there is some synergy between the two out there. It just feels like there is plays like where it was a funny tweet where it's like Kel'el Ware, there's the two wolves in his body, right? It's like Victor Wembanyama and it's Christian Wood, and I hate to say it, but that's honestly true because there's plays where he actually looks like a complete unicorn out there, blocking shots left and right, defending well in the perimeter, knocking down threes, getting a tip back dunk. And then there's other plays where he just gets lost in pick and roll defense. He gets lost defensively. He's not running the floor properly. And that's why I think Spoelstra has a love-hate relationship with him playing a ton of minutes. We'll see if he's at a Giannis trade this offseason or anything like that, or a Kawhi trade.
Philadelphia getting Jared McCain at 16. It's going to be an A- for me. McCain is someone that can come in right away and knock down big shots. He did that at Duke last season and can be a great complementary piece to Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid, and can now give you more continuity with a roster that's usually having some crazy turnover every single year. But McCain can be a stable piece with Maxey and Embiid for years to come. At 17,
not the case. Great, I think, or solid analysis by me, but the Sixers traded him for a first-round pick to have even more roster turnover next year.
The LA Lakers got Dalton Connect. Yeah, this is great value. I'm giving this an A+. This kind of reminded me a little bit of Cam Whitmore last year. I thought Connect was going to be a for sure lottery pick. He falls to 17. He's going to be a great shooter for this Lakers team, a great shot creator. He's not a great defender, and the game could be a little slow to him right now, or at least he plays in a slower way than he needs to at the NBA level. But I think the value is there 100% for the Lakers, who in my opinion got a top 10 guy with the 17th overall pick. At 18,
I like Connect. or connect to Tennessee. And yeah, he was a little bit of an older prospect. And right now it's really tough to watch him in the Lakers because you're also not really watching him because he's not really getting playoff time. He's not part of the playoff rotation. I will say though, like, I don't know, chalk it up to him getting traded, maybe destroyed his confidence with the Lakers because it just feels like he was playing garbage time after that trade and wasn't knocking down the shots at garbage time. And it's like, all right, if you're not going to hit your threes, we're not going to play you. Like, that's kind of what you're known for. I wonder if he gets his fourth year option picked up this offseason, if that's not been decided yet. And he could also just get traded this offseason. But yeah, not a good take by me.
Orlando took Tristan da Silva. I love Tristan da Silva as a prospect. He's one of my guys in this draft. I don't really love the fit in Orlando. They have so many of these wings that I feel like just aren't knockdown shooters specifically or could navigate off ball screens at a really high level. So I'm going to give this a B- as well. I love da Silva as a prospect, kind of similar to the Khalil Ware
Nice
grade.
editing
I
mistake.
just thought they could have went in a different direction. At 19th,
Like, I think da Silva's been good, but there are some other players that I think could have fit Orlando a little bit more. Like having this other, like, jack of all trades, master of none forward that I always talked about him in the pre-draft process. Like, I just don't know if I trust da Silva as like a movement shooter for this team. Like, do you think Jacoby Walter, who really took progress this year as a three-point shooter, could have been a little bit of a better fit? Do you think there was a big on the board potentially? Keyshawn George would have been a little bit better of a fit as well.
Toronto went Jacoby Walter. I'm going to give this a B+. Walter, like Cody Williams, like Buzelis, Holland in this class, an extreme boomer bust prospect. He could be someone that could definitely benefit from being in the G League this upcoming season, and I think Toronto is a perfect place where he could develop. I think he could be a good defender right away, a good shooter, and as he gets a better feel for the game, he could maybe be a 3-level scorer one day rather than just a 3D prototype. And then,
I don't know if he's going to be much of like a free throw shooter at a high volume, but I do think that's a pretty good take. I think he did benefit from being in the G League, and I think Darko and that player development staff has done a better job with Jacoby Walter. Like, I view Walter more as a better long-term asset than like Grady Dick or Jamal Shead or anybody like that. He was a really good three-point shooter in the second half this season. I thought he played well in game number 2 against the Cavs. So pretty good take by me, I would say.
Number 20, people thought maybe this would be Bronny James. It was Jalen Tyson out of Cal, a different Pac-12 school going to the Cavs. And I'm going to give this a B+. I am not a fan of the Cavs wings right now outside of Max Strus. I'm not a fan of Dean Wade. I'm not a fan of Georges Niang or Karis LeVert at the money he's making. So
One bad take with the Dean Wade take, because I think for his contract, he's more than fine.
I love the addition of Jalen Tyson, someone that could be a gritty guy for you in the playoffs, that is going to want contact, that's going to want physicality, that can get to the rim and finish at the rim, and is someone that is also going to crash the offensive glass and defensive glass much better than those aforementioned forwards that I'm not really a big fan of. At 21, this I feel like was the
I
most
would say that was pretty good. He broke out this year, probably a top 10 player from this class this year in a vacuum, and I think a home run pick by Cleveland. They needed a hit on it with the second apron, and they did.
predictable pick outside the lottery. Everybody mocked it, including me, and that's Yves Missi to the New Orleans Pelicans. I'm going to give this grade a B. I love Yves Missi and the addition of Yves Missi in New Orleans. I just wonder if he can ever work in the front court with Zion Williamson because neither of them can shoot. It's going to be the most athletic front court in the league, but it's also going to be a non-existing shooting front court, which I think has its question marks to it.
Yep, that was definitely a valid question, and I don't think they're going to work together. Now you add in Derek Queen. Yeah, he might not be on the Pelicans after this offseason.
Suns traded down with the Denver Nuggets, who traded up to select Deron Holmes out of Dayton. They didn't have to give up too much in this deal, and I'm going to give Denver a B for this. I like getting the insurance for the backup big man. I mean, Zeke Naji was a disappointment last year. DeAndre Jordan's obviously getting up there in age, and now Deron Holmes can give you some stability off the bench. He could shoot a little bit, he could defend, he's got a nice post game, and I think he can play alongside Nikola Jokic as well. I think the biggest shocker for me in this draft was AJ.
Yeah, I mean, Deron Holmes also dealt maybe a bad hand. I mean, you had the Achilles tear in Summer League. Adam didn't really trust him this year, and you add in Valanciunas, and yeah, that's the case. I wonder if Holmes also gets us. They got to pick up his fourth-year option, but they might try to penny pinch this summer, so we'll see.
Johnson going 23 to the Milwaukee Bucks. He was outside my top 50. In my opinion, he's a 2 to 3 to maybe even 4-year project play at the NBA level. Milwaukee doesn't have the time for that, right? If they couldn't develop Marjon Beauchamp or Andre Jackson right away, guys that were much more NBA ready, I don't think they're going to do that in AJ Johnson. I think the game could be a little chaotic for him sometimes, and I think he could be a good scorer one day. I think he could be a solid defender right away. I just don't believe in the Milwaukee Bucks or Doc Rivers to really optimize his development right now when there was so many other NBA ready guys on the board like Terrence Shannon, like Tyler Kolek, like Kyle Filipowski, Kevin McCullough. All those guys were there. So yeah, this is going to be my worst grade. I'm going to give it a D+.
Yeah, I think it was an unfair spot for AJ Johnson. He was never going to have a chance to grow, and they basically traded him halfway through his rookie year to Washington for Kyle Kuzma. Now, AJ Johnson was in the Anthony Davis trade. I don't really know if he's going to have much of a role in Dallas. So let me get something off my chest, because I remember Bucks fans, after I did this, were coming at me, right? Like, just, you don't know ball. Like, how are you giving it this low of a grade? It's so much better than the guys that went after him, even after everything I said right there. I also tweeted out that I think Bronny James is more NBA ready than AJ Johnson, which now I think also is a solid take, because I do think Bronny James is a lot better than AJ Johnson defensively. I mean, I'm comparing bench warmers, right? Like, I'm not really comparing all-stars at this level. I'm not comparing an all-star to a bench warmer. And I got so much hate from Bucks fans. I just remembered vividly. And when you do what I do, sometimes like I'll get like a bunch of Rockets fans at me, a bunch of Raptors fans at me, definitely Raptors fans. And then I'll get Bucks fans after that take. So I'm not going to take a victory lap, because I hope AJ Johnson succeeds. And I do think it was a very unfortunate spot for him right away in Milwaukee. And still don't, like, they could have just taken Keyshawn George. Heck, take like, I don't know, Ryan Dunn at that point would have been a better pick. I know Ryan Dunn isn't like a great prospect to have right now. And he's not like this world, like, I don't know, he's not going to change the world offensively, but he's a great defender. And just for the window around Giannis, I think John Horst fumbled that pick. So yeah, that's why I gave it that low grade.
Knicks traded down 2 spots with the Washington Wizards, who traded up here to select Keyshawn George out of Miami. I'm going to be giving this a B for them. And I'm glad George could develop in a place like Washington that's currently into a rebuild. He's going to be a 3-and-D prototype, and I think he's someone that can knock down some shots right away. There may be some lapses on the defensive end, but by year 3 and 4 in the league, he could be a solid rotational piece. And then,
yeah, I was way too low on Keyshawn George. I thought, okay, like 3-and-D guy, end of the rookie deal. He's going to be in the league for a long time. He might be more than that one day, or right away, actually. Like, he was such a good shot creator this year.
Knicks took Bakomi Dadiet with the 25th overall pick. I'm going to give this a C. This was pretty much just a money-saving move for the Knicks. They're probably hoping that he's just going to be a draft and stash. I mean, this is a team that needed to save money. I love what the Knicks have done this offseason, getting Mikal Bridges, re-signing OG Anunoby. But for this draft pick specifically, it's going to be a C. Dadiet is a huge project play. I have no idea when he's going to be really an impact player for a playoff team. It may not happen until 2029. Who knows? And then the Knicks traded the 26th overall pick to the OKC Thunder for 5 second-round picks. I knew Leon Rose was going to do this. I was so disappointed throughout the draft stream. I'm going to give the OKC Thunder a B- for this. I actually like Dylan Jones, and I liked his tape a ton watching him at Weber State this past season, and I think he's someone that could be a crafty scorer for OKC that desperately needs one off the bench. I thought they could have went with that style of play at number 12. They opted not to do that. They get Dylan Jones at 26, and if Sam Presti likes Dylan Jones, then I probably should like him a little bit more. So I'm going to give it a B- just because they had to trade up 5 seconds for him.
Yeah, I mean, a blemish on maybe Presti's resume, because that was not a good trade in hindsight. He was off the team a year later.
Junior going to the Timberwolves at 27. It's funny. Maybe they didn't even have to trade for Rob Dillingham because Collier is still on the board. But I love this pick for him.
Yeah.
This is going to be getting an A-. Terrence Shannon, one of the more NBA-ready players in this draft class. He could defend, he could shoot, he could score off the dribble, and I think could be a great bench piece for a Timberwolves team that's trying to win a championship in 2025. Phoenix traded.
Maybe he has a better year next year, but yeah, I would say it wasn't as productive as you would have thought, maybe as a breakout guy this year, and he's going to be 26 years old this summer.
Down with Denver and got Ryan Dunn at 28. Yeah, this is an A for me as well. I love this from Phoenix, getting the best defender in this draft, in my opinion. Best defender on the perimeter, best defender on the point of attack, and one of the better interior defenders in this class by trading down as well, getting some other draft capital, which is nice to see. And hopefully he's just locked in the gym with Kevin Durant, Beal, and Booker this summer that can teach him how to shoot. And then Isaiah Collier.
Yeah, 2 of those 3 guys are not on the team anymore. Dunn hasn't really fixed the jumper too much, but I will say for getting his defensive value at 28, I think it warrants an A.
29 to the Utah Jazz. He was my 9th ranked prospect in this draft. It's an A+. I mean, the value was just there. I don't know why he went this low. I don't know if there's a character issue, a medical issue. He is way too talented to go this far into a draft that's relatively weak. Collier can get to the line at will. He could score in every aspect of the game besides the free throws, which obviously is something he needs to work on. I think he held his own fine defensively this past season, and I think he's a good playmaker as well. Solid rebounder. I'm still in shock that he went 29. And then
it's tough because he's been on like 2 tanking teams in his career. He shot 34% from 3 on high volume at USC in 2024, but he has not been a good 3-point shooter at the NBA level, which could be why teams were maybe a little bit lower on him. But I'm looking at so many other guards that went before him where he would have just made a lot more sense. I mean, you could talk about maybe him to Washington at 20, him to OKC at 26, him to New York at 25, Milwaukee at 23. Yeah, 100% there could have made more sense. The Lakers at 17, do you value Collier over Bub Carrington more long-term? Do you value Collier over Topic, Collier over Dillingham? Dillingham, yes. Topic, maybe not. But I do think Collier went way too low and still a good pick by the Jazz in hindsight. I know they, like I said, were tanking the last 2 years, but I think they got well worth the value that you could get out of the 29th overall pick already in his career.
Getting Baylor Shireman at 30, I love this. I'm giving this a B+. I would have rather the Knicks take him at 25, and I think this is a phenomenal pick.
Yeah, I would have. There's so many guys I would have rather the Knicks take than Dottie at 25. Like, I made a quiz video on my Extra Straws channel of trying to name every rotational player, and I missed one Nick and it was Pagome because he doesn't play, and I don't think he's going to play for the Knicks on this rookie contract. And like I said, it was a cost-saving move because I think they thought they were going to be able to get back Hartenstein. He darts to OKC this summer. But there were so many other guys that would have been better fits on this team. And Baylor Shireman, what I saw this year out of him, would have been one of them.
For the Celtics at 30, that can give you some Sam Hauser insurance if he gets paid by a different team that you can't afford on. And then he can also come in and shoot and replace Hauser, but can also be a pretty good playmaker as well. Like always, thank you all for watching. I love you guys.
So that's going to wrap up my draft grades. I would say some good takes in there, some bad takes in there. Let me know what you agree or disagree with down below. Let me know your thoughts on this draft class 2 years later, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.